Hello, everyone. Hello. How you doing? Nice to have you here. This is Roger Kern at rogersactingtips.com. Great to have you with me. Continuing a conversation today that I've been having with a few new young people. Hopefully that will be working with me soon. They are delightful and very interesting. And they were asking me about the difference between drama and comedy. Tragedy and comedy is the traditional way of saying it. And so let's talk about that a little bit because, yeah, it's one of the basic understandings about the different styles or different genre, as it were, in the theater. Drama, the basic explanation of each, and that's what I'll give you here. Drama is a story in which the conflict, the dramatic conflict, is not resolved uh, without a tragic ending. That's what makes it a tragedy. Usually in drama where things are not resolved without a horrible ending, usually everybody dies, essentially. I don't mean to laugh at that way, but it just kind of struck me as kind of odd. Yeah, but that's kind of it. That's the way it works. Yeah. In Hamlet, for instance, a lot of people die at the end, but at least the hero usually dies, and that's what makes it a tragedy. It's a tragic ending. In comedy, on the other hand, the solution, the dramatic conflict in the play, may cause a lot of very tense moments, and if the setup is rather hilarious and it is being portrayed very believably by the actors, then the comedy is very funny along the way, even though the characters in the comedy do not think it's funny. That's something I'm going to talk about in just a second. So in comedy, the dramatic conflict is, though, resolved in the end. And everybody may have a lot of fights, for instance, or arguments, or just a lot of awkward situations that are funny along the way, but it's not funny to them during the journey. It's at the end where everything is resolved and everything's peaceful again. And that's the ending of a comedy, that it ends well, kind of all's well that ends well kind of thing. So that's the basic difference between tragedy and comedy, or what we would often say between drama and comedy. Going further now, related to this, because they were asking about different actors, often my students and almost all young people want opinions about who the stars that we know and recognizable people, and I think it's valuable to talk about them. And so I was thinking about who I could talk about as an example of these fine comedic players, because I want to talk to you about comedy today in this video. And the people that came to mind immediately, two people that came to my mind were Jack Lemmon and Lucille Ball, both late great comedic actors. Wonderful, just brilliant comedy was performed by both of them. Also, one who's still with us, a great, who's still with us, though I don't know if she's doing new shows these days much, is Carol Burnett, another great person. And you're going to understand why I talk about these people if you go find some projects that they were in, comedic skit work or sketch shows or movies that were comedies, because they have an enormous sense of rhythm, a very keen sense of rhythm, which includes things like timing and pace. And comedy does have a very delicate sense of timing, because to make comedy funny, to be funny, you have to take your comedy seriously. There's an old adage that says comedy is serious business. And no one like Jack Lemmon or Lucille Ball took it more seriously. You have to take the material and the event all the way into deep believability zone. If you believe it, we believe it, and the more deeply we believe it, no matter how outrageous the event is or the situation is that you're portraying, the funnier it is, the more seriously you take it. Chekhov actually is very interesting. One of the great playwrights, Chekhov, he used to say, "What are they doing to my plays? I write funny plays that end sad." And there are some hilarious scenes written in Chekhov. But when you first read them, you think they're very serious. So you even have to take it to the nth degree of believability to understand Chekhov and to find his sense of humor. That's a whole further topic, more specific into that realm, that we'll get to maybe later on, especially if somebody wants to know more about it. But I'm trying to think of more people, like right now, I'll tell you, Sofia Vergara is somebody I'd like to talk to and add to that list. She's not only an exotic creature, she has an exotic look, she has that Latina spark and that fiery presence, but she has a wonderful sense of timing, and she takes her comedy very seriously. You can see it. You know, in fact, some of her most hilarious and funny moments are, when she's very upset, or she's fighting for something, or is really adamant about something she wants. And that really speaks well to a very concentrated comedic performance. So if you're interested in learning about how to bring those values to your comedic performance, I would strongly suggest you take a look at my new course, the Acting Formula 101. I purposely call it the Actor's Formula because there is no such thing. The only really valid acting formula there is the one that you create for yourself as you learn the fundamentals. Because as you learn things like concentration, rhythm, sense memory, and emotional memory, those things are very heavily, all aspects, all the fundamentals are heavily involved in all acting, but those are the four that I could think right off the bat that Sofia Vergara and her very funny moments are produced. Those moments are produced by her execution of those four very well. Great concentration. You see, when you're performing, you have to take comedy. When they say it's serious business, it means because you buy into it. You believe the situation. It's not funny to you. Not that it's a tragedy. You're not playing it heavy. It's just that you believe the situation so much that you are there in it. You actually buy the situation. You're the one. And your concentration is extremely important in these situations, because in the middle of these events that are depicted in comedic art and plays are usually loaded with emotion and physical action, and they can become hilarious. And if you're in the middle of a performance, it might become very funny to you, but you cannot laugh or comment on it. You can't just let it go. You can't break concentration. You have to stay in believing it. If you don't, you'll be robbing the audience of their enjoyment of the comedic situation or event that you and the cast, or you and your fellow actor in front of the camera or on stage are portraying. So, I mean, you just can't break. Yes, you'll see comedians once in a while break, and it will make the audience laugh sometimes, but really it's not the way to go if you're really in a comedic performance of a play. And I'm sure your director won't be very happy with you if you break too. So don't break concentration. You have to buy into it. So it's very important. And I think you might take a look at that whole cast of Modern Family. Actually, everyone in that cast is taking their serious taking their comedy seriously. And they're very invested. You notice how invested into what's going on and what they want. And so creating a conflict between each other, and the comedy arises because of the conflict, but also because of the intention they put behind what they want and the seriousness with which they take it. So remember these things. You have to take your comedy seriously. You have to really work on your concentration. Your point of concentration is crucial in comedy. And the believability, of course, and your buying into it, you believing it, is crucial. And a sense of rhythm, a sense of pace and timing. Rhythm covers all of that. And the interplay between you and the fellow actor or cast members that you're involved with, very, very important that you understand to a profound level that that's what makes these things sail. Okay? And once again, the Acting Formula 101, it will offer you the various fundamentals, and then it is further enhanced. I provide an exercise that will demonstrate each of these to you. So you might really want to take a look at that. Pardon me. And if you do, please make sure that you let me know how you're doing with it. And if you have any questions, I've meant to mention this before on other videos, and I'm going to try to start remembering to do it now. Since there's only one acting formula really, and that is the one that you create for yourself personally to use, your personal process, because you're a unique actor and we want to see your vulnerability and we want to know who you are. You can only do that with the acting formula you create for you. And my course, the Acting Formula 101, is about helping you find the fundamentals needed as tools to create that formula for yourself to use. And if you take the time to do that, we're going to get to start seeing who you are as an actor. And along the way, you're probably going to have some questions. So I want to welcome you to reach me and ask questions. I will answer them here. I've been meaning to say this on earlier videos. I will try to remember it now. I welcome your questions. Let me know what you're wondering. I will answer them the best I can. Okay? I'm Roger Curtin here at rogersactingtips.com. I thank you so much for listening, and great to have you here. Look forward to seeing you soon.